Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Ronline Report. Got a great guest today. This was the talk of the Chicago Pro. Not everybody expected this guy to do as well as he did, to look as great as he did. Please welcome all the way from Colorado, Brett Wilkin. How are you, Brett?
Hey, it's good to be back in Colorado. I mean, get in your own bed last night and then wake up morning, it's Monday. Couldn't have had a better weekend, man. I mean, you could slightly have with a little bit another decision, but man, it came together really well, and a lot is happening really fast. So I just glad that I get to kind of share that with you guys here on up on here, and then answer any questions you may have for me.
Cool. So I have to apologize. I've been saying your name wrong for a long time now, Brett. It's Wilkin.
Yeah, no,
I don't know too many. I've heard Wilkins many times in my life. I've never heard Wilkin.
Yeah, I think growing up and everything had that, and there is a lot more with the S on the end, but yeah, definitely just Wilkin.
You sure it wasn't a clerical error somewhere? No, just kidding.
No.
Anyway, so before we get into the show, which was, wow, what a show. I want to remind everyone, you turned pro in 2018, just 3 years ago, at the Junior Nationals as a Classic Physique athlete. What was your body weight when you turned pro as Classic?
So I was 195 when I went pro in 2018. Oh, that had been years ago time. Made a post earlier today, finally let people know, because so many people were asking what I weighed on stage. Yeah. And I ended up being right at like 242 on the morning. So in between 242 to 245 on stage after eating a little bit. Crazy thing is, like, Matt, Coach Jansen, he called that. He's like, I think we're gonna be 242. We'll be 248. We'll be ready at 248 in the gym. Drop a few little bit of water there at the end, and you're gonna be 242, exactly 30 pounds heavier than you were the last time you were on stage. I was like, you say it, and I'll do it. Let's do it. So wow, it turned out
50 pounds of stage weight in 3 years. Wow. Yeah. Dude, I can't divide well, but 50 divided by 3, that's a lot. You've done, it's a lot, man. And so to remind everyone, you never competed in Classic Physique.
No, not as a pro, no.
2019, you did 2 shows as a 212. Puerto Rico Pro, you took 10th place, but we have to be real here. It was out of 11 guys. You weren't the best 212 pro. Don't worry, you're great now. Toronto Pro, you did better. It was 6th out of 13. But at that time, once you did those 2 shows, did you realize my frame needs more muscle? I mean, what was going through your head after those shows?
That was exactly what happened. So really, honestly, I've talked about this before in other interviews. Like, when I was coming up as a Classic Physique guy, I didn't really know better. I was coaching myself. I mean, I still had some good people around me. Ivana, her brother was a bodybuilder, so he kind of oversaw things. But we lived in Iowa, and there wasn't really a bodybuilding background there. There wasn't coaches there. There wasn't much of a scene. So I just loved. I enjoyed the process. I studied exercise science in college, and nutrition. So I just love to be part of it, hands-on. And I did a lot of trial and error to figure out everything. So looking back at it, I think I started that prep to go pro at 217, and my glutes were in. I was just shredded when I started. So wow. All I knew how to do then was eat away muscle to make weight classes, So yeah. When we moved out here after I went pro, that's when I really, dove into the lifestyle more. I have this awesome atmosphere out here at Armbrust Pro Gym. Dylan took us in with open arms, pretty much showed us the way of a real bodybuilding lifestyle, having the right environment, having every piece from equipment to posing to, office in here to food to everything, it all came together. And that's when I just started responding. I started growing. So even then we moved here, I was 199 pounds right after I went pro. Got up to 242 within 4 or 5 months, so that was the first big jump.
Yeah. And
then then that's when I decided, I wanted to compete. I was still riding high, and looking back at it, maybe we should have thought about it a little bit more, just with, on how I was responding, growing. Yeah. But it was a good experience that we decided to diet down to 212. And what I noticed with me was I looked best at 225. So we got to 225, I was gym ready, but then we had to really suck down to get to 212, and that's where I think I lost a lot of the fullness, the pop, and then that's what brought me in at 212, but I had to do it to make the weight, and I'm 5'9", so that's a little bit taller for a 212 guy anyway. So yeah. Went through those shows, sat down right after, and I was like, man, I think this is a tough decision, because these are some big boys in the open, but I think that's my calling, man. I just keep looking better as I get bigger. And, he agreed with me. I wrote Tyler Mannion, got his feedback from the show and stuff. And he agreed with me as well. And, wrote in the email, and, that was enough. Those two said it. And I'm just like, you know what, I'm going to do this. One thing I really loved about it is I love just the process of bodybuilding. It's like, I'm never going to restrict myself. I'm never going to try to have to keep making weight. I always just want to look better every time I step on stage. And that has been a goal for me from the start. And like, I pretty much did that every time so far. So my main thing with me is I'm going to keep getting better. And with me, it's, I'm obviously very conscious of like keeping my waist in. It's not just like, I'm going to try to get as big as I am to get 300 pounds. Cause then I'll look 250 on stage. It's like, I control everything, but I know when it's working, and I know how to put on good muscle and keep everything else in check. And it's just a time thing for me. I just need a little bit more time. If I would have had another 7 to 10 pounds there this weekend, I think it would have, with that conditioning, I think it would have, kind of pushed me over the top there for sure. But, I'm just getting warmed up. I'm getting started. The fire is burning, and I know what to do to get to that point. And so we're just going to keep riding right now. We haven't, I know this is probably your next question. But we're still talking about Tampa here in 2 weeks. Just because, I'm right there. The only thing is I wouldn't be able to do Texas. So it's like, I can't really chase the points, because I only have one more opportunity. I think like there's other guys that have already more points than if I got second twice. Right. So it would be more so I just need to have to come out and win it. And so we're going to decide that here in the next couple of days. I didn't go crazy over the weekend or anything. So I'm still in a great spot. And that's where we're at right now.
Why couldn't you do both Tampa and Texas?
I already committed to a big guest posing out here for Dylan. And so me and Hunter are actually guest posing each other here in 3 weeks on August 14th. And I committed, I did a 2-year plan on that. He like I said, he's family to me, and I always will take care of him first. And then I also have like 5 competitors competing in the show too. So it's like, it's going to be a big weekend for us. And I already made that commitment.
It's a Team Conquer Nutrition is your prep coaching company?
Team Conquer Culture is our
Conquer Culture. I like that.
Yeah.
It's a little twist on counterculture. Yeah. My next question was actually going to be, how old are you? You look like you're a young dude.
I'm a little older than you think. I started this late, so I didn't jump into this until I was like 28. So I'm 32 now. Okay. Yeah. Still feel young, fresh. I feel awesome. So, like I said, really just been going after this for 4 years now. Kind of lived the lifestyle. Like I said, when I met Ivana when I was 25, she had already turned pro. So over those first like 3-4 years, I was like going to all the shows, starting to eat a lot more because she taught me how to eat more as a bodybuilder. Yeah. I was working out with John Meadows a bunch because she was with him at the time, and just got the full experience of how to do bodybuilding right. And then I had time to execute it. So it was almost like, looking back on it now, like from the time I was like 25 to 28, I was getting myself ready for this without knowing it. Because I had no true, like at that time I was like, I'm not a competitor. I'm not going to compete. But I trained and I ate like it and I lived the lifestyle like it. And then like, by the time I was 28, first time I competed, it was ready. And then after I did really well my first show, went straight to junior nationals the next weekend and got third, missed my pro card by 1. That's when I was like, I really can put something, I can really put into this. And I think I can do really, really well at this. And so that's when I waited 1 more year. I came back to junior nationals in Chicago. I love Chicago. That's why I keep doing these Chicago things. But came back and
Atlanta.
won the 2018 junior nationals. And then when we moved out here, it was a great opportunity for us. I was like, hey, if we're ever going to do this, let's take the risk and move out, to Denver from, we were in Des Moines, Iowa, and really run with this bodybuilding thing. And we did. And it was I keep telling people, it was the best decision we ever made. And we haven't looked back since, man. It's been amazing.
So were you and Ivana both living in Iowa? You're both from Iowa originally?
Yeah. So she moved over there. She immigrated when she was like 6 years old, but came to Iowa.
Iowa. Huh.
Yeah. So yeah, I know. You don't hear about it much.
Where is Iowa? It's in the U.S. somewhere, isn't it? Right?
U.S. right in the middle.
It's like right there, right? Yeah. Wow, crazy. So did you move specifically to Denver for Armbrust Pro Gym?
Yeah, in some ways. The thing is, she started working with Dylan. So Dylan here, he coaches figure athletes as well. He coached Candace Lewis Carter. So she and her husband kind of set us up with Dylan, and just because he's a good figure coach. And so we came out and visited here like May of that year of like 2018, and just absolutely loved it. Not only the gym and like how he brought us in, but then we went up into the mountains. We love the area. We love nature. So it was just like, we needed something new. At that time I was between jobs, and we were sharing a house with her with her brother and sister-in-law. Yeah. And so it was just a good timing wise. I was like, this is perfect. And, we want to just start new, starting something fresh, and then really, really get into this bodybuilding with no distractions. And that's what's happened. We came out here, we built a little team, we built a little family around us that has been nothing but thriving. And I think when you add all those components together, like we have, is when you see results like this. So it's one of those things like, we just enjoy and love the process, and then we have fun with it. Like it's almost like an oxygen gym kind of feel, but we call it the no oxygen gym. We get a lot more freedom, and like we still have a lot more fun. Like we make tricks and stuff, but when we're in here, when we are in here training and stuff, it is on. So it's like, it's the perfect environment for me. I have the perfect training partner for myself, and that's Martin-Fitzwater, which everybody will hear his name here soon because he's doing the Texas Pro, and everybody will know him after that.
Wow, yeah.
And we're just rolling, man.
Yeah, I had Martin on the Ronline report like 2 months ago, and he had moved specifically from, was it Nebraska? Is that where?
Wyoming, right about
Wyoming.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he moved specifically for that gym. Did you have anything to do with him moving to Denver?
Yeah, he meant to say he moved down here specifically for me, I think he said.
Okay. Oh, I think he did say that.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, for sure. Like he was coming down on the weekends, just because, like I said, there's like posing classes here, and it's a real bodybuilding gym atmosphere. And he was in Wyoming, where there was like kind of my same story, Iowa, not much going on. So he came down here, and we were posing one day, and like that was I think that was when I was getting ready for like the 212 or around that time. And I looked over, I was like, dang, that's a big kid, like look at like big ass legs on him for a young dude. And then so I was like, I think we just approached each other. We ended up training that day. I was like, hey, you want to hit a session after this? And then the rest is history. I mean, pretty much the same when it comes to ideals, when it comes to training philosophies, when it comes to intensity. He's we just clicked, and honestly, then he started coming down every weekend and just staying with me. And I was like, man, you just got to move down here, dude. Yeah. And so he did, and now we're both in a really good position.
Yeah, it's funny you call it the no oxygen gym, because how long did it take you to really acclimate to the air being? They call it thinner air, but that's what it means. There's less oxygen, right?
Yeah. Just because the elevation's so high, that's why it's called the mile high. We call it mile high Mecca, because we're exactly a mile high up here, elevation wise. And it does one thing, and that's something when I moved here, and like Phil talked a lot to me about it. He thinks we have like quite an advantage up here, obviously, because doing cardio with that lower, that higher elevation, lower oxygen, 40 minutes of cardio here is like 60 minutes of cardio somewhere else, And then honestly, like after seeing this past weekend, I mean, I think a lot of you noticed, like I was able to hold my poses a lot longer than many people. Yeah. And that comes down to obviously preparation. But I truly think those like every morning we would do posing sessions, cardio or whatever, sauna, posing. And then that 30 minutes of posing, like here, is so much tougher than it was, on down in that lower elevation. So I do truly believe it had a factor, and then that's just an advantage we have up here. To your question, sorry, it's it probably took a good month in regards to like leg training, because like just the more oxygen you need, you just never felt like you could catch your breath right away. So like after sets, you still see us to this day if you watch our YouTube and stuff. Like after an intense set, we just lay down for about 3 minutes to get recover sometimes, but. Like I said, overall, I think it's an advantage. And then once you get used to it, then you just keep rolling on it.
It's funny because there was a huge trend. I think people stopped doing it once we all were forced to wear masks anyway. But you remember what were those masks called that a bunch of people were wearing in the gym?
I think.
What are they called?
Training mask or something like that.
Yeah, they look like a gas mask. I used to laugh at those people and that's what they were trying to simulate, right? They were trying to do the same thing that you're doing naturally in Denver.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen people in here doing it, and I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense. And
now they got zero oxygen.
Trying to be on top of the mountain, I guess.
Yeah, so that gym, wow. Shout out to Dylan Armbruster. I mean, he's got Phil Heath, he's got you, Ivana, Dorian Haywood, Martin. There's probably a couple other pros there too.
Oh, there's probably 15 to 20 pros in here. Wow. Like, I can start naming some off. But like you said, the big names. Phil been here. He's been representing the last 10, 12 years. He's been a vital part of it, man. Like he was a big part of this weekend with me. He just texted me, telling me, how to hold myself, demeanor, everything. So always appreciate him and what I've been able to, the relationship built with him by just moving out here and just fucking working hard, like he saw that, he kind of took me under his wing, and, it's been we've been here 3 years now, but like I said, 3 years of work, and it's paying off, man.
So you're with Matt Jansen, Team Jansen, who also is the coach of 212 Olympia champion Sean Clarita, New York Pro champ Nick Walker, several other notables. How did you get started working with Matt?
So I started with Matt. It was also in 2018. So that was like end of 2018 when he was doing USAs. Okay. So that's when I first met him. I just went out there to watch, I think, because that's right after I won junior nationals. I was like, I want to go see the USAs. You know, I think I had a few buddies competing, and I went out there and I actually ran into him in one of the gyms, and he was actually getting ready for the show. So I just wanted to introduce myself. We talked a little bit, and he was, you know, awesome. We ended up taking a picture. I think he posted the other day, the very first picture of us together, and he was bigger than me by probably 20, 30 pounds. Yeah. And it was just, that's where we kind of hit off. And then we touched base after his show and stuff. And then later in the year started working together. And like, it was just one of those things I loved to, like, at that time when I ran into him, I think it was like him, Dallas. It was he was with two other people. I can't remember at the time, but like, they just had an entourage. And I was like, man, this is a close-knit team. You know, they respect him. And like, and so I want something like that. And I've seen, you know, his track record with these athletes right now. So it came together, and he got me ready, you know, just by his professionalism, attention to detail. In that first prep we worked together, I was like, I'm sticking with him. He knows me now. I love the process. And I know I'm going to take 2 years off here, probably till the next stage appearance, but it's going to be worth it. And so he stuck true with me. He was, you know, anything I ever needed, even in that deep off season, he would help out. And then it all came together this past weekend with him peaking me right. And I think that shows a lot. This weekend shows a lot about his performance as a coach. Yeah. I think people need to really open up their eyes on, like, you know, how good he is at peaking athletes. Cause you know, it was just like, we talked about what was going to happen, and then it would happen, you know, and then like, it was one of those like perfect laid out situations in regards to peaking. And it was just really cool to unfold and watch. And like, we videoed a lot of it. So it's gonna be really cool to share too.
Yeah, I mean, if anyone, I don't know who would be doubting Matt Jansen's skills as a coach at this point. I mean, Dallas, the first Arnold Classic he did, he took second place. Nick Walker has been a phenomenon. You were, you know, a mediocre 212 athlete, and now you're already being talked about as one of the better open guys. I mean, let's talk about the show, man, because I don't want to say you would be surprised, because there were definitely some sneak previews. There were some foreshadows of this. You know, people saw your progress pictures. You're with Gasp, and Gasp, their YouTube channel has been having training stuff with you and Martin and Hunter for the past few months. So people saw the improvements you had made, the physique. They got a pretty good idea. But then I think the final thing we saw that really sealed the deal as far as this Brett guy is going to be pretty damn good was a guest posing you did fairly recently with Sean Clarita and Nick Walker. Where was that?
Yeah, so that was about 4 or 5 weeks ago at Junior Nationals this year. Okay. Revive set it up that like they're going to be bringing guest posers, and so that was just so cool. He hit me up like 2 weeks before. He's like, "I really want you to do this, man. I know you're in your prep mode, but we'll make everything flawless for you that weekend. Just honestly, I just want to kind of give people a sneak peek, because I know what you're going to do, and I want people and the judges to kind of get a little sneak peek so they know what to expect." And it worked out perfect. You know, that Steve was there, Tyler was there, and, you know, just they got to see me next to like Nick and Sean, you know, two top tier athletes, and then kind of just give a little bit of a preview, and then came back 4 weeks later and just smashed it, man. So it worked out really, really well. That's a very good strategic play by us. And then I think most people just didn't know how I would, like you said, no, you saw pictures and stuff, but you didn't know how I'd look actually next to the bigger guys, you know, because last time you saw me was 212 pounds on stage. And so it was more like, does he have enough size? And that was also a good mental weekend for me, because, you know, standing next to Nick Walker, who had that, I think he was 280 that weekend. You know, he was eating that weekend. So I was like, hey, you know, if I can hang with Nick and size wise, you know, like I can hang with others, and then I can beat him in other spots. So that was my whole strategy coming in the weekend. I was like, have enough size to be there, and then, you know, then beat him in other spots, beat him in those quarter turns, beat him in, you know, the conditioning, the leanness, the sharpness. And then honestly, man, I was really happy to see how much I beat him a lot in the back shots too. So that was really exciting.
Yeah. I mean, at the show, more than a few people thought you could have won. You know, taking nothing away from Hunter at all. Hunter's a phenomenal competitor, but you were pushing him very hard. You outconditioned him. I'll say that with no problem, especially from the back. Just you were crisp, you were dry, and like I said, Matt Jansen has a really good skill for bringing in people with that extra level of conditioning. That it does make a difference visually. Maybe on like the live stream or the pay-per-view, people couldn't see it as much, but when you're there where the judges are sitting, or where like I'm right behind the judges, you definitely can see the difference between someone who's 100% dry and crisp and someone who's like 90%. And like I said, from the back, that's obviously, Hunter needs a little more back. You need a little more from the front. He beat you in certain areas, just fullness and roundness and like the shoulders and things like that. But, you were right there. I mean, look at this lineup. Where'd I put it? If you had on paper saw this lineup, where would I have placed you? Not really knowing what you look like. I would not have had you beating guys like Max Charles. This guy's a legend. He's been around forever. Hassan Mustafa, one of the most massive bodybuilders in the world. Mohammed Shaban is no joke. Rolly Winkler, my God, Rolly's one of the greatest bodybuilders of this last decade. So for you to get ahead of all those guys, that had to feel good, did it?
I think you can see how I feel when they were doing the awards, and like I started tearing up when they started like saying, going down, person to person. I mean, I knew where I was. And then that's when it really just hit me, man. I just beat some really, really good bodybuilders, one top 3 Olympian, and then, Shaban, who's been awesome. You got Hassan, like, them up close are just nasty, big and stuff. And then it's like, it was just the coming out part, man, the coming out party. I've arrived, and the crazy part is I can just still get so much better too in my eyes, and I know I will. And that it was just overwhelming of emotion. And what you haven't really touched on yet is just like the atmosphere that was in that building. That was and I was, me being on stage, but like, I have never been part of been seen a show or been part of a show that had that, like, just that much crazy atmosphere, so much yelling, I feel like, so much support. Steve was working our ass, like, dude, it was like 7 rounds of moving around. I knew he like at one point he moved me to the side, to try to kill my demeanor, and the crowd wasn't letting him do it and stuff, and like they were yelling, like it was like the security was getting put to work. They were sitting and had to put people down and stuff. So it was one of the coolest like show experiences I've seen, and then for me to be a big part of that, man, it just felt awesome. And like having like my closest people there, and just representing, and then like seeing like people that didn't even know who I was on my side. Like towards the end of that, I feel like 70% of the crowd was about might not even knowing my name, but they're about my number, and they wanted to see it, see me challenge for that top spot.
Yeah, and I think you were in the middle at one point. Didn't Steve have you in the middle?
Oh yeah. Even that finals, me and Hunter were in the middle pretty much the whole time. So I think like I said, that's what's awesome about Steve is he not only works us, but he kind of adds a little like drama. They'll like move everybody around. Don't let them get any idea where they truly are. Move him to the side for a little bit, make him work his way back up. And like I knew that, so that's what's cool. Like I said, Dylan was telling me, he's like, hey, Steve's gonna mess with you. He's gonna try to kill your demeanor. He moves you to the side. Dead serious. He goes, if he moves you to the side, like you just keep fighting, because like he's trying to test you and see if you're gonna quit or if you're gonna battle. And I go, I'm gonna fucking battle. Like I'm gonna battle, and that's what I did. And I felt like that was the deciding factor, and especially when he really started making us hold the poses. And like I'm just like, I will hold this longer than anybody on this stage. I want this more than anybody, and I will hold these poses longer than anybody on the stage. We were all sweating like crazy. Like, but what I mean? Like I wanted it that bad, and I think that displayed it, and that goes into like, that goes into the selection as well. Who's gonna fight the most for this?
Yeah, I mean that's Rolly. There were other factors involved, but to me, like Rolly didn't look like he wanted it. He really didn't. Sometimes he would have like confidence and enthusiasm. Other times it it wasn't there. And you and Hunter were just, you never let up. You were fighting the whole time you were up there. And that does make a difference. And I got to give a shout out to Steve and the judges, because there were days in the past when it was political. It really was. And guys were winning based on their name, based on what they'd done before. And if that was the case, even though Rolly looked the way he looked, if it was still like that, Rolly would have won that show. I guarantee you. 10, 15 years ago, they would have had Rolly winning the show, looking like that, and you guys looking like that. But they've come a long way. Things are a lot more fair and balance these days with the judging.
I
I mean, especially like one last thing, the Indy Pro, that really showed it to me this year because 3 out of the top 5 in the 212 were doing their first show ever. 2 of them I had never heard of in my life. The kid that won, Tonio, never heard of him. And we had some names in there, and they all got beat. So, you know, props, hard work, the physique. It's what they see in front of them. It's not your sponsor. It's not how many followers you have. It's not how many shows you've won. None of that. So good job, guys. Good job, judges.
They did great.
And I have apologized to you because I kind of considered you a couple of years ago. You're married to Ivana. She's one of the top figure competitors of the decade. I didn't know this offhand. You guys told me this. 5 pro wins, 5 times the Olympia, top 6. And, you know, I always saw you as, well, he's a pro too, but he's not at her level. Well, let me tell you, you're getting there very, very rapidly where you're both going to be. I see you top Arnold Classic, top Olympia guy within a couple of years. And that's, you know, there's not much room up top. There's not many guys that are able to be there. So for you to get there, and I know you're, based on what I've seen, the improvements and everything, you just need a little more fullness in the upper body. You're going to be right up there with those guys. So yeah, you're not the guy carrying Ivana's bags like I thought you were going to be.
I still might have to do that sometimes, you know.
Well, that's okay. You're good. A good husband will help out his wife and carry some bags around. But yeah, how does that feel to know that, you know, a year ago, you say the word Brett Wilkin, most people would have been like, huh? Oh, that's Ivana's husband. Yeah, he's all right. He's all right. But now, you know, it's totally, one show can change things so much. Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy. A couple hours, man. But the crazy thing is, like, for my story, it was 2 years of work for a couple hours. You know what I mean? Like, so it comes down to, you know, like you said, no one knew what I looked like. No one knew, you know. I wrote the post the other day about how I was training at 5 a.m. with the lights off in closed gyms, just, you know, during COVID. I was getting up getting up in the middle of the night for a year and a half, eating a meal at 3 a.m. just so I can get my weight up. So it's like all those behind the scene things kind of, you know, came to fruition and in one weekend. And so, like, it's just so rewarding because, like, all that time spent, all those hours spent, all that, you know, sacrificing social things, like that time spent to get to this point and for it to all come together like that, it was just, you know, amazing and rewarding and, like, you know, something that we thought we deserved, and we did it, man. Like, so I was just so happy for everybody involved. If the people around me knew that, you know, this could happen this weekend, and we came in with that mindset and just kind of stuck to ourselves, stay low, stay covered up a little bit around here, and then just brought it all together.
Yeah, I mean, wow. Yeah, another thing is when you take second at a show and a lot of people think you should have won, that can actually be a better thing. I know it doesn't sound better because it's second place, but the fans really get behind you in a case like that. I've seen that happen so many times where a guy takes second in a very close battle for the win, and that really boosts his popularity. His fan following just doubles, like, within a week's time. And, you know, they're going to be looking out for you at the next show and the next show, just because this is a guy they think really deserved a little more. And, you know, you could argue either way. I think you and Hunter are both phenomenal. He won some shots, you won some shots. Have you seen the actual score sheets to see how close it was?
Yeah, I saw the scorecards. They had him, so he was 3 in prejudging, 3 in finals, and I was 6 in prejudging, 6 finals. So they had him in first in both. And
Okay. I mean, you were closer. Sometimes the score sheets, they're not an indication of how close it actually was. Because, you know, like I said, and I'm not trying to put down Hunter. He's a rightful winner. I didn't have a problem with Hunter winning at all. But let's talk about that too, because you're with Gasp. They were there for the weekend. Nick Del Toro, Michael, the owner, Johannesson came down for that. You've been out to Destination Dallas many times, it looks like, done plenty of great videos and stuff with them. How did that all happen? Because that's a great company to be with. They've had guys like Branch and Johnny and Flex Lewis over the years.
Yeah, man, I'm just extremely fortunate to have that opportunity. It all started like 2 years ago. They came out here. They were doing like a gym tour, and Michael, and it was like Branch, Nick Del Toro, like you said, another athlete came out. Jordan is his name, and they came out and we took him up to the mountains. He wanted to meet some athletes out here, so Dylan's like, Brett, will you go on this? And I'm like, yeah, I'll train with Branch. Are you crazy? Like, yeah. Which turned out to be one of the craziest workouts I've ever been involved with. That, like, you know, intent wise, but build a relationship with him there, and we went and did some Colorado stuff. And just had a really good weekend overall. And that was kind of the first time I met Michael and had some good dinner and stuff. And then the following year, like, you know, he remembered me, kind of kept in touch. And then like he invited Martin. I think he had been seeing some stuff. He swung through again and saw us, and he's like, I want to bring you guys down to Dallas. And so that's what he does, which is awesome with Michael, is he gets to know the athletes first and gets to know the persona behind the, you know, the image, before he would, you know, ever sign you, before he'd ever bring you on the team. So it's really a family feel, you know. So went down there, you know, 6-8 months. It was about 8 months ago. You know, had a great time, trained, made some awesome footage, you know, shot some guns, had some more one-on-one time with him and his family, hung out with Branch. And then, you know, that's what started us with Gasp and Better Bodies. And then it's been like, you know, like I said, they take so much, you know, very good care of me. I had Branch texting me all weekend. We've built a good relationship. So that's just someone I can bounce things off of. I'm going down to stay with him here later in the fall. We're going to go, hopefully go shoot some hogs and stuff and then have some fun that way. But
those poor hogs.
But yeah, he's good. He's a great guy. You know, they all are, and they just full support. And man, Gas showed out this last weekend because they had the winner in Classic. They had the winner in 212 with Keon. They had Hunter, they had me, then they had 9 athletes total, and they all of us did very, very well. So it was really cool to have that team out there with us too. And then we all went to dinner afterwards, and we're all going down there again here in 2 weeks, right before the Texas Pro Show. There's a big event going on, and we'll do a lot more, you know, fun content there and get a lot of good stuff. So great to have them behind me. I just feel when you have a team like that, it's just, you don't ever have to like worry about much, and like, and he'll always, you know, you can always bounce things off of him. He'll take care of you. And then the thing is, you just feel comfortable. So this whole weekend was extremely comfortable. I never was stressing about anything. So no cortisol, everything was smooth. And like, it just, like I said, it was one of those perfect weekends.
I know. Now, does Branch send you that Wicked Cuts jerky?
Oh yeah, I bet. Yeah. I like it, man. It's good.
Are you able to eat the volcanic jalapeno?
That's what I was going to say. I tried to, I had to take a little break on that one. I'm not that hot a guy, you know. Dude,
that's thermogenic. I bet you burn 1,000 calories just eating that crap.
Yeah, you burn it. Take that as like pre-cardio or something.
Yeah, I tried one little piece. I'm a wuss because, man, I felt like it was battery acid. It tasted good, but it was burning everything, just like acid. I said, I'm done. Right. I'm done. Can't do it. So, man, where do you go from here? I mean, you're not really sure about the next show. Could this be it for you for 2021?
It could. Like I said, I'm jumping on a call with Matt today. I just kept it clean these last couple of days. We had, you know, a couple good meals yesterday. Got the water off of me off the flight, and then we'll decide here. Like I said, we just got to talk about the whole. I can only do Tampa, so it's got to be a win if we're gonna do it. And then, you know, some other things I have, like, you know, I have some family coming into town that I need to decide if we're gonna, you know, keep that in or not. So just so that, you know, just some decisions here to make these next couple of days. Then I'm gonna let everybody know on my Instagram and stuff, because I had a lot of interest. They want to see it again, and I really appreciate that. So it was cool to make a statement. Everyone's like, you got to go now. You got to go again. You know, you and Ian would be fun battle and stuff. And I think it would really be a good, you know, it'd be fun. So
and Rolly's going to be there again.
Yeah. Rolly's, you know, I think Steve Duclo's there. So a lot of big names again, man. But like, you know, it can also be a great opportunity for me too, you know, to continue to show that it wasn't just a, you know, a one weekend hit. Like I'm here to stay. And, you know, my conditioning's here, man. That's here to stay. So now it's just about, you know, deciding if we need to make a few more improvements and then bring a, you know, more complete physique, or if we'll make a run here. So like I said, it's going to be a fun couple of days to figure that out and then let the people know.
Well, the people want you to do Tampa. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah.
That's no question. So your Instagram is Brett_Wilkin, correct?
Yes.
Has your following grown by like many thousands over the weekend?
Yeah, I think it was like, so Ivana had me look last night because I wasn't really paying too much attention. I still need to get back to people with messages. It's crazy, man. That's what I love. I love all the support. People that have never even talked to me, you know, they reaching out. Like I didn't know who you were before this weekend. Now you're my biggest motivation, you know, like, so it's really cool. And I'm trying to get back to everybody still. It's just been a whirlwind. I think I like gained like 13,000 followers in the last 2 days. Right. So it's really cool that I got that, you know, more people to get to see this journey. And, you know, we're just setting things up for these next couple months and into this off season to like really show you some cool, you know, show everybody some cool stuff, show like what my off season is going to really look like to bring the next version of me for next year and stuff. Yeah. So it's going to be fun to have these new fans and new following to share this experience with.
Yeah. And I mean, selfishly on the part of the fans, and I'm a fan, it'd be great to see you at least once more before the season's over, because you were really what's that word they use all the time? Refreshing, or, a breath of fresh air. It's like, wow, somebody knew that we weren't really thinking about too much, and he's awesome. He's right up there. He's beating all these freaking veterans, these big names. It's crazy. It's exciting. And, bodybuilding, we need excitement. It's not, we don't have like people running down a field or doing anything that exciting. We need stuff like that to keep this going. But you'll do what's best. You'll do what's best. I know you'll figure it all out.
Yeah,
man. Everything.
No, I think you're exactly right, man. Like this year, it's been a little different. Like the shows haven't been like, they've been good, but not like crazy good. And I think this was like the start of the crazy end of the year. You know what I mean? With Chicago, with really, really good competition, how that, how it went, and how, the underdog came out of nowhere, as you would say, and then just showed that, made a statement. And then going into these next two that are just going to be loaded, and there's going to be some good fights to the end here. So as a fan, I'm super excited. As a competitor, I'm even more excited. So it's going to be a cool end of the year here coming up.
Yeah. This was the best. Chicago Pro was the best show of the year so far. No doubt.
That's what I think anyway.
Oh, I've watched them all. This was, I'm not kissing your ass. This was the best show, the best lineup, best, deepest quality lineup of the year so far. Hands down.
Right. I was watching.
Tampa might be better. Yeah.
Yeah. I was watching last night. It was, or Meadows. It was a podcast like Scott McNally, John Meadows, and Andrew Barry. And like Meadows was there, and he was just talking about how this is the best show he watched in years. Wow. He goes, just like, hair, he was getting goosebumps. He was yelling. He's like, I haven't yelled at a show for years. Like I was into it. I was sweating. They were pushing me back. Like, and so just the, like I said earlier, just to be part of that and bring that excitement. It was cool that we captured a true bodybuilding show, and just where there's emotion everywhere. And like, if you weren't there, you missed out on something great. And I even know through the live stream, like I think it was a little choppy, but people were like standing and yelling at the TV and stuff. So cool that, bodybuilding is back. I mean, in regards to just excitement right now. And what's really cool is now we have about 2 more shows back to back here coming up. And then the stacked Arnold, man. I want to try to send my invite and see if I can jump in there real quick or something. Nah, they'll wait on that, but those guys are going to do awesome. It's going to be a sweet Arnold. So I will be there watching. So I'll also meet a lot of people out there, and I'm excited for that as a fan. And then, yeah, it's going to be a fun couple of weeks.
Well, if you're not in the Arnold this year, which is in September, it's only 6 more months till the next Arnold.
That's right.
So put your invitation in for the 2022 Arnold.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you shut it down right now, we're only in late July. You have time to make some more improvements and come in, start your prep. I'd love to see you in that Arnold Classic. I'd like to see you at that level. I think with a little more fullness in the upper body, you're up there at the Arnold Classic you would definitely belong. You wouldn't want to be one, there's always a couple guys at the Arnold like, ugh, why'd they invite this guy? Because he's from some weird country or something. I don't know. But you would definitely fit right. You'd fit right in. You belong up there.
Yeah, appreciate it.
But, yeah. So, man, great job this weekend. Fantastic job. Yeah, I mean, you made the show that much more exciting, because we already knew all these other guys were going to be there. And like I said, when somebody you weren't thinking about, an underdog, like you say, comes out of nowhere, this is a guy who turned pro as Classic. He was not the best 212 guy. Nobody was really expecting a whole lot from him, except I have to say Giles, Tiger Thomas. He called it. He was really hyping you up. He thought you were going to win before leading into the show. And I said, you're on crack, Giles. Stop smoking that crack.
It's
but you know what? You came that close to winning. So Giles, you called it, dude. You called it.
Mate. I think Fuad had me in like 9th place. So I made sure I texted him after the show and make sure he watched the show,
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you're going to go on Fuad's thing. So make sure you bitch him out for that.
Yeah. No, he's great. He wrote me. He's like, man, I actually moved you up before the show. And I'm like, sure. Yeah.
Cool. Well, I appreciate you taking the time and doing this so quickly. We did this just on Monday. You just got in last night, I'm sure. So you're probably still flying high from the adrenaline of the weekend and haven't slept and all that.
That much, that's for sure. So like it's been exciting. The body doesn't want to sleep, but I'll crash these next couple of nights. But we got more work to do always, man. So it's Monday. I'm already here at the office, and we're gonna kick ass today.
Cool. So guys, follow him on Instagram, Brett_Wilkin. What's the YouTube channel?
It's Martin-Fitzwater and Brett Wilkin. So I'll be sharing a lot of stuff on my Instagram. Cool thing is we got video from the whole weekend, so it worked out perfect, man. You're gonna see the whole peaking process and then a lot of the footage from backstage even. So we'll be bringing that to you, and I'll share a lot of that on my Instagram leading into it.
Yeah, and Nick Del Toro, shout out, awesome videographer, does great camera work, great editing. He used to do
amazing,
a lot. He did a lot for MD years ago, and those are some of the best videos we ever had. Honest to God,
Ever.
He's gifted.
One of the best. One of the best.
So that's it, man. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Yeah, dude, you're killing it, and you're going to continue killing it. Just keep on doing what you're doing, guy. You're getting better and better. So perfect.
Right, keep doing. Hope to do more of these in the winner's circle next time. Okay.
Yeah, obviously, definitely. All right. Well, thank you, and everybody. Thanks for watching this show with guest Brett Wilkin. I'm starting to lose it here. So we'll see you guys next time on Ronline Report. Make sure to follow Brett on his journey on his Instagram and the YouTube, because this guy is going nowhere but up. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.